subscribe to the channel, and hit the like button for more engaging content. Do you ever wonder what sets a hero shooter apart from the rest? Uh, in the case of FragPunk, the answer lies in its unique Lancers, each with their own set of skills and abilities that make them stand out. Uh, with 13 Lancers to choose from, the character selection is crucial in FragPunk. Just like in popular team-based games like Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, Apex Legends, and Valorant, the right Lancer can make all the difference in a fight. So make your choice wisely. Let's take a closer look at each Lancer and their skills. Broker is a skilled fighter with abilities that include dealing direct damage and skill kills, as well as setting up traps and obscuring vision. His skills include Goddard's Vengeance, a shoulder-launched rocket that causes explosive damage and knocks back enemies. Smokestack Lightning, a throwable gadget that generates a smoke screen around the projectile. And Cherry Bomb, a throwable device that generates several energy bombs on the ground. Nitro is a Lancer who excels at setting up fortifications and defenses, as well as setting up traps. His skills include Shug Shug, a multifunctional tactical combat drone that can be controlled remotely. The Wall, a wall of shields formed by 3 pieces of cover across the designated location, and Mr. Pew Pew, a sentry turret that fires automatically. Basically, Hollow Point is a versatile Lancer with abilities that include dealing direct damage and skill kills, setting up traps, and obscuring vision. His skills include Meteora, a single-shot railgun with variable optics that charges and detects enemies in the field of view. Smokescreen, a forward-moving smoke screen that reveals enemies that caught in it, and Paparazzi, a trap that automatically attaches to a nearby enemy and exposes them. Jaguar is a stealthy Lancer with abilities that include setting up traps, obscuring vision, and detecting enemies. His skills include Livewire, an electric trap that deals damage and slows nearby enemies. Electric Avenue, an electrical cage that blocks the vision of enemies in front of Jaguar. And I Can See for Miles, a skill that displays the number of enemies ahead and detects enemies who are low on health or affected by Jaguar's skill. Chum is a Lancer who excels at dealing direct damage and skill kills, setting up traps and obscuring vision. His skills include Chomper, a deployable pet that patrols the area and chases down enemies to bite them, and Explosive Bait, a bait that sticks to walls and explodes when triggered. Corona is a Lancer who excels in frontal combat and killing enemies, as well as teleporting herself or teammates to another location. Her skills include Fast Lane, a dash that moves Corona forward a short distance. Ashes to Ashes, a device that activates a war zone when hitting the ground, dealing minor damage over time to enemies in its errand. And Hothead, a skill that blinds all enemies looking directly at Corona. Circuit is a Lancer who excels at obscuring vision, slowing down enemies and teleporting herself or teammates to another location. Her skills include Station to Station, a controllable beacon that allows Circuit to teleport to its location. Gold Dust Woman, a dust tornado that moves forward slowly, slowing enemies in range. And Dilemma, a throwable gadget that drags enemies in range towards it. Pakagen is a Lancer who excels at healing allies, setting up fortifications and defenses, and setting up traps. Her skills include emotional rescue, a biomedical device that creates a healing field, restoring health to all allies within its zone, shroom wall, a destructible fungus wall on the ground or in a doorway, and Killer Queen, a throwable trap that can be activated manually or triggered when an enemy approaches. Zephyr is a stealthy lancer with abilities that include assassinating enemies, slowing down enemies, and teleporting herself or teammates to another location. Her skills include Midnight Rambler, an optical cloaking mode that makes Zephyr invisible, Fade Away, an area where Zephyr is fully invisible during her cloaking mode, and Get Back, a dagger beacon that Zephyr can teleport to after a short delay. Spider is a lancer who excels at teleporting herself or teammates to another location, slowing down enemies, and setting up traps. Her skills include Teleporter, a device that places two teleporters that Spider can recall remotely. Spirited Away, a teleportation trap that takes effect after a short delay, teleporting enemies in range to the location where Spider initially used the skill, and Spider Web, a disorienting trap that blinds and slows enemies who trigger it. Kismet is a Lancer who excels at detecting enemies, dealing direct damage, and skill kills and stories. His skills include Hello Goodbye, a scan that exposes all enemies in front, and within range of Kismet, Misery Angel, a bomb that deals damage to enemies in range, regardless of intervening barricades, and Walk on the Wild Side, a mode that makes Kismet invisible and invulnerable, but unable to see other Lancers. Axon is a Lancer who excels at dealing direct damage and skill kills, as well as frontal combat and killing enemies. His skills include Electric Depart, a modified electric guitar that deals high damage to close range enemies. Sticky Fingers, a bouncing sticky grenade that sticks to an enemy or detonates when the time is up. And Super Freak, a mode that makes Axon immune to blinds. Sonar is a Lancer who excels at slowing down enemies, detecting enemies, and dealing direct damage and skill kills. Her skills include echolocation, a device that periodically reveals surrounding enemies when they move, Sonic Surge, a sonic wave that exposes all enemies it hits, and Sound of Silence, where a skill that dampens the footsteps of the player and their surrounding teammates, granting immunity to enemy echolocation scans. In summary, each Lancer in FragPunk has their own unique set of skills and abilities that make them stand out. When deciding on your preferred character, pay attention to some top tier shard cards that are crucial during every fight. And on that note, why did the Lancer bring a ladder to the fight? Because they wanted to take their game to the next level. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,